Coming up on 5 Minute News. US to release 50 million barrels of oil to fight gas prices. Organisers of Unite the Right rally hit with $26 million court verdict. And more than 400 migrants rescued in Atlantic approaching Canary Islands. It's Wednesday, November 24. I'm Anthony Davis. On Tuesday, President Joe Biden ordered a record 50 million barrels of oil to be released from America's strategic reserve, aiming to bring down gasoline and other costs in coordination with other major energy-consuming nations, including India, the United Kingdom, and China. The U.S. action is focused on helping Americans coping with higher fuel and other prices ahead of Thanksgiving and winter holiday travel. Gasoline prices are about $3.40 a gallon, more than 50% higher than a year ago, according to the American Automobile Association. The government will begin to move barrels into the market in mid to late December. Gasoline usually responds at a lag to changes in oil prices, and administration officials suggested this is one of several steps toward ultimately bringing costs down. Oil prices had dropped in the days ahead of the announced withdrawals, a sign that investors were anticipating the moves that could bring a combined 70 to 80 million barrels of oil onto global markets. But in trading after the announcement, prices shot up roughly 2% instead of falling. Shortly after the US announcement, India said it would release 5 million barrels from its strategic reserves. The British government confirmed it will release up to 1.5 million barrels. Japan and South Korea are also participating, and US officials said it's the biggest coordinated release from global strategic reserves. Despite all the optimistic statements, the actions by the US and others risk countermoves by Gulf nations, especially Saudi Arabia and Russia. Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries have made clear they intend to control supply to keep prices high for the time being. As word spread in recent days of a coming joint release from US and other countries' reserves, there were warnings from OPEC interests that those countries may respond in turn, reneging on promises to increase supplies in coming months. A federal jury in Charlottesville, Virginia, yesterday found the organizers of the 2017 Unite the Right white nationalist rally liable for injuries sustained by counter-protesters and awarded approximately $26 million in damages. The 9 plaintiffs in the case said they suffered physical or emotional trauma at the rally, including 4 who were struck when a self-described neo-Nazi, James Fields, drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, killing 32-year-old Heather Heyer. After a 4-week trial, the jury found in favor of the victims on 4 of 6 counts, but was unable to come to a unanimous verdict on the other 2, according to court filings. The rally followed months of protests over the city's plan to remove a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Hundreds of white nationalists traveled to Charlottesville in August 2017, with some marching on the University of Virginia campus, carrying torches and chanting, "Jews will not replace us." Then President Donald Trump was criticized for initially saying there were fine people on both sides after the rally devolved into violent clashes. President Joe Biden has frequently cited the torch-lit march and Trump's response as the event that precipitated his decision to mount another run for the White House. The 24 defendants included Jason Kessler, the main organizer, Richard Spencer, who originated the term alt-right, a loose network of groups characterized by a rejection of mainstream politics that includes white supremacists and neo-Nazis, and several white nationalist groups. Fields was sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of murder and hate crimes. The lawsuit received financial support from a non-profit civil rights group, Integrity First for America. Spanish rescuers have saved and disembarked more than 400 migrants and asylum seekers to the Canary Islands in the past 2 days as they attempted to reach the Atlantic Ocean archipelago from West Africa on several overcrowded, unsafe smuggling boats. On Tuesday alone, Spain's Maritime Rescue Service said it had rescued more than 130 people from North and West Africa, including several women and small children, bringing them to safety on the Spanish islands of Gran Canaria and Fuerteventura. Also on Tuesday, Alarm Phone, a humanitarian network for migrants in distress, reported that 20 migrants had been picked up in the ocean by the Moroccan Royal Navy on Monday after being spotted by a cargo ship. The Atlantic route from West Africa to the Canary Islands has been increasingly used by smugglers who launch boats from Morocco, Western Sahara, Mauritania, Senegal, and even the Gambia. So far this year, more than 18,000 people have reached the Canary Islands this way. The Atlantic route is also one of the deadliest to Europe. The UN's Migration Agency reported around 900 migrant deaths and disappearances this year, although it admits the true death toll is likely much higher. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.